Good evening, and welcome to my communication and teamwork presentation. I am Scott Bingham, and I look forward to presenting this information to you. When dealing with communication, it's got to be judged in some way, and for that to happen, one person has to say something to another. And with that happening, it causes an intent, which was what you were intending for your message to come across, and the impact is how the recipient that you were speaking to has taken the message that you put out in and tries to figure out what actually it means to them. In communicating, you want to make sure that the message you're putting out comes across with a strong purpose. And to do that, you can do that utilizing these steps. One, you want to make sure you know what your audience is to think. You want to know what they're going to feel. And you also want to know that you put out what you want them to do. All right. So on the audience, on what they're thinking is, what did the recipient learn? All right. Did you update, persuade, or convince them, or instruct them with the message you put out to change their mind, or just convince them otherwise? When they making them feel. Question is, did you impress them with your message? Were you very confident in your message? And did you move them? Did you inspire them, to change due to the message that you conveyed? And last but not least is, what you want them to do with your message that you're putting out. So you need to know, you kind of look at it beforehand. What will they do? Here you want to make sure you have detailed the what you want done, with whom you want it done, and when you want it done by, to convey your message. When conveying a message, you want to make sure that you make an impression on the individual that you're speaking to, or the group you're speaking to. And ways to do that is, one, just keep it simple. Keeping it simple makes it to where everyone in the room can understand. You don't need to go above anyone's head trying to describe something to make yourself seem more relevant. So just keep it simple. Second, make it memorable. Make something within the message that you're trying to convey memorable to the person that's receiving it. And third, know the vocal techniques needed. You need to know that sometimes you might want to amplify your voice a little more. Sometimes you might want to just lower it a little bit. So just know the technique needed vocally when speaking. And last but not least is body language. I think body language is one of the most important, because body language normally speaks more than actual words. So pay attention to your body language, have good posture, speak, when you're speaking with your hands, don't put your hands in your pocket. So just pay attention to your body language when conducting any type of message you're trying to convey. Now that we know what we want to do with the message we're putting out, we need to kind of know about our audience a little bit. We want to make sure that we want to know what type of expectations they have, right? You want to make sure that you also know what matters to them and what information you should be putting out. You want to also understand that whenever you're communicating to an audience, make sure that the communication is moving smoothly between the employees to the executives moving up the chain of command. And you also want to make sure the audience, that you want to make sure that if there's any cultural, organizational cultures that need to be followed. Maybe not just organizational, but actual culture. If you're in a different area, and you need to know different things on what things are acceptable and what are not. In communication, it's not just the tones that are coming from your mouth or speaking with a group or anyone. One of the key portions of communication is listening, which is not speaking, just listening to what others have to say. There's many types of listening. We have avoidance listening, which is like someone talking to you and you're like, yeah, yeah, I hear you, yeah, whatever. Then there's defensive listening. I think a lot of people, they do that, a lot of that in relationships, the defensive listening. Then you got your problem solving listening, which is a very effective listening pattern by, trying to figure out different problems to figure things out and just listen to it. And then there's the connective listening. That's the fully engaged listener who's all engaged and wanting to make sure that through communication that things are proactive and things get done. In listening, you want to make sure you're listening for what's said, what's not said, so what's unsaid, and how things are said. When dealing with what's said, make sure that you have a clear, complete, mutual understanding of what is being said from you and the other partner, making sure that you both are on the same page. What's unsaid, too many times what needs to be said is not due to fear of what others will think or do, and leaving the most important thing left on the table. And how things are said includes the vocals, the body language, and the emotions that you use when, when things are said. Listening is a tool that will help you build stronger connections, better relationships with people. And a good way of doing that is just by asking some questions. And a couple types of questions you can ask are description questions, like what happened? Or use questions with who, what, where, when, and how. Those are more open-ended questions. Cause questions. Why did things happen? Asking them why. Let them elaborate on it. Best case questions are what do you want to happen? Best case scenario, and wanting to ask their opinion, showing that you're very much interested. And then the possibility questions. What if something changes? Oh man, what would you do if this changed? Asking them for their insights on different ways of changing things. Then you have contribution questioning. How can I help you? How can I be helpful doing this project? Is same as on the possibility questions. It's showing that you have genuine care and want to help. Now, without communication, you cannot have teamwork. So let's roll right into teamwork. Teamwork, there's two different types. You have regular teams and then you have teaming. Your teams are bonded groups of people with clear membership who are interdependent and working toward a shared goal. So these are people that have been working together and doing things together, and they understand where everything is and where they should be. Then you have teaming. Teaming is where, I guess you could say a lot of it in the military, because we're with us transferring stuff all the time, is on the fly, is getting things done on the fly without the benefits of a stable structure of a team. Learning the process that people find themselves in and getting each other up to speed to complete a shared goal by working together effectively to create the mission. Within teamwork, you have interpersonal risks, which one is impression management, which is actions people take to create a good impression with others or influence how others perceive something, which basically it's holding back thoughts that they might have that they wanted to put out but they didn't, and it's just used for self-protection. Another thing is another category really is your psychological safety, which is the area you want to operate in. It's a climate in which people feel free to express themselves. It's a way to build that is by framing your work as a learning challenge within a group. And then you also want to acknowledge your own fallibility as well as make sure it's open forum to ask questions amongst the group, and no one's going to feel like they need impression management whatsoever. So that goes right back into teamwork and communication. Teamwork won't happen without effective communication. True teamwork does not result in members of the team having impression management. A great team operates with psychological safety. Thank you for the time, and everyone have a great day.